Jujitsu, when I hit you, then I split you. Jujitsu, when I hit you, then I split you.
We're back, baby.
Oh yeah, 2LiveFools coming at ya. 2LiveFools coming at ya.
1,000 degrees outside, but we're back.
Fucker, hotter than Hades outside today, Drew.
Yeah, and it's gonna be hotter tomorrow. Which I feel like
It's August.
I always like complaining. I feel like complaining about the heat because guess what? What's gonna happen in like 3 or 4 months?
We hate
I'm
the
gonna be in my hoodie and my jeans, be like, oh my god, dude, it's so fucking cold out. So
dude, I'm part of your tribe. I'm part Haitian, bro. Like I hate the cold.
We're tropical people, man.
Tropical people, bro.
That's it.
A little bit of tropic thunder. What are we?
Right,
White
man.
chocolate thunder again? We're white chocolate thunder. Yeah.
Wait, chocolate thunder and white lightning. That's it.
No, we made an agreement because I'm always white lightning. Like I'm just a drunk fucking hick on moonshine.
No, I told you, man.
So
you're white chocolate thunder.
Thank you.
You see? That's
Love it. So yeah, I know we were talking a little bit off, but I know you want to touch on a couple things tonight, my friend.
Yeah, it's so funny because you're starting to see the T-shirts now with like someone at the gym sent me like the whole Cuomo, like I'm not a pervert, I'm Italian and all that. And like
yeah,
just even before that, like
did you see the 14 days to flatten the perv?
Yeah. One of my neighbors was like I was just going for a walk earlier, and one of my neighbors was just like, you see that? Like, do you believe what he did and what they're all doing? I'm like, dude, listen, man, they just need to. I think about it this way, like working in a number of like large corporations and like having a boss, like there's something they do they do it every year. There's like an evaluation process. Like, you get to the middle of the year, you do like your mid-year review. They kind of see like, all right, based over the course of the year, this is what you've done, this is what you've accomplished. These are like your areas of improvement. And then, they have an action plan moving forward. If you're doing good, keep doing what you're doing. If you're doing bad, you got to change these things before the end of the year. And there's always like steps and documentation they kind of do to see like, you did this at mid-year. Let's just say like someone just does it horribly. So there's like the mid-year, if any time between like the beginning of the year and like the mid-year, like you're not doing good.
Do they do quarterly reviews?
Not so much quarterly.
It's just like bi-yearly
and like end of year.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like it's like depending on what industry or company you're in, there's like your mid-year and like your end of year. Now, anytime between mid-year and end of year, like if you're just not doing anything and like you're talking with your boss and your priorities aren't aligning and you're just not getting your job done, then they have like steps they put in place, just to document them. There's like coaching plans, there's like personal improvement plans and things like that. And then let's just say like you get to the middle of the year, not approving. They say, all right, middle of the year, the end of the year, you have to do this in order to be good or to be all right. So you get midway through between mid-year and end of the year and you're still not like doing anything or you're still not performing, then they have like these things called like depending on what, it's different based on what type of company you're in, but they call them like a personal improvement plan. And this is pretty much like you have to hit like X, Y, and Z, or you have to
X amount of goals.
You have to improve by X amount of percentage, or essentially like you're done. Like they usually that's the point where they kind of like terminate you, and then even like at end of year. So I was trying to explain it, and like my neighbor I was talking to, like she works at Johnson & Johnson, so she's like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm like, I don't understand. Like you see like these people who are in these offices for like 30, 40, 50 years. Term limits. There isn't really so much accomplished, but it's like they're still in there. It's like for me or most people in like an average job, like I got like if I'm not doing anything over the course of the year and I show no improvement, like I'm gone. Like like they've cut me loose, they'll lay me off, like they'll do everything. So I'm like I don't know, maybe I don't understand how that structure works. And I was trying to compare, and I know they're different, but at the same time, I'm like, geez, like after like 2 or 3 years and you haven't accomplished anything, like why, like like how are you still, like I said, it's different industry, different type of layout.
But that's the whole thing. It shouldn't be, but no, it makes perfect sense, really. But like it shouldn't be an industry. You should be in to be a public servant, do your duty, and get out. You shouldn't be in there for 30, 40 years. All these people that are in there for 30, 40 years, They are making money off the back of the American people. Every single one of them has a deal. Their husbands have a deal. Their wives have a deal. Their kids have a deal. This one has a deal. And they're just literally milking every cent they can towards them. Not even towards their district, towards them. Those people who have been in there. Yeah. I mean, like perfect example. Look where like Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters are, right? They're in like LA and San Francisco. Shitholes. They've been there forever. Democratic brand for, they've been in there for like 70, 80 years combined, right? What have they done to improve? Nothing. But they both went from $100,000 a year. Now Nancy Pelosi's worth like fucking $130 million. Her husband just happens to get a contract and make a stock deal. She's been caught like insider trading so many times and nobody does nothing. Oh, this bill's going to go through that Tesla's going to build all the infrastructure and her husband just ends up buying $5 million worth of stock. And like, dude, this shit happens all the time and it's on both sides of the party. Yeah. So, you know, that's the problem is it's big government. Our country wasn't built on having big government. It was people with a small government. Like even federal government was like just to be like, get everybody together. But the states were really supposed to govern themselves. And now the federal government's bigger than the state government. And federal laws are trumping all the state laws and doing this and doing that. It's totally reversed of what our forefathers wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, I was just like thinking about that. And like I said, I'm just trying to compare. I'm like, what's kind of like the, I guess maybe call it like the barometer that they're kind of using to kind of determine like, all right, well, this is what you're doing. And like, you always hear things like term limits and things like that. Like, what can we do to ensure that people are actually like doing their jobs and progressing? Like, you know, like if you almost want to like say, like, you put a limit on it, you have X amount of years to do this. If you don't, then, you know,
and then so vote them out, right? That's really the only way, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it could be set up either vote them out, or it's just like, listen, you have to do this, this, and this, or like you have a set of criteria that you have to follow, or things you have to accomplish. If it's to raise the budget by X amount, or things like that. But if you don't hit these, like, you know, 10 or 15 bullet points, then you didn't do your job. And, you know, especially what you are, if you can't do those things or execute on those things, and there has to be proper documentation and things as to why you didn't. There has to be some overbearing circumstances to why that wasn't able to be achieved. And things like that.
See, Drew, you're doing you're doing something right now that 90% of Americans can't do. Logically think.
Mm-hmm. I try. I don't always get it right, but it's
not even getting it right. Like you're logically thinking about this, but the problem is nobody's making logical decisions right now. Everybody's making emotional decisions. And how does that come out? That doesn't come out good for anybody.
Yeah. Well, I think about it this way. Like, look at it this way. Let's say, like, you got a house. Like most people who listen to us just have a house. So say, like, you know, you're gonna build like an extra garage or something on the end of your house. Like you know what? I want a 2-bay garage. I want X amount of space. I want like a little loft in there so I can store all my stuff. Like, you know, you lay out like your 10 requirements. You hire someone to do this, like, you know, and they say, all right, I'm going to complete this job in like, you know, 3 months, make a contract, do this and that. You know, you get like 2 months in, like nothing's done. It's a 1-bay garage, things like that. Then eventually, like, you know, this isn't going to work out. Like, I'm going to fire you. Like,
fire
them.
Yeah.
You know, anything.
That makes sense.
Anything. If you hire someone, they don't meet it. That's why it's almost like you talk about the concept, like when people talk about like getting fired, like, oh, it's like the worst thing in the world. Like, listen, I've been fired from jobs before. At the end of the day, like there's a contract between yourself and the employer. So at the end of the day, the employer, like, you know, listen, I'll give you benefits, money, X amount, this and that. And like, you know, you give them your time, or you're going to, like, you know, create X amount of revenue for my company or this part of the business. Like, at the end of the day, if you can't meet that contract, or you don't meet that contract, then at that point, the employer has to make a decision for the business, like, this isn't working out. I have to terminate the contract and allow you to or go off and do something else, do something maybe you're better suited for. And it goes both ways. Like, if you're not seeing that from the employer,
so you don't think you should just throw more money at it?
You know, speaking of that, like, yeah, this goes back to the garage example. Like, you know, if I give someone a 3 month, you know, if they said 3 months, we'll get X, Y, and Z done. You know, that person comes back after X amount of time, even if, like, you know, the job's like 20% done, and they're like, oh yeah, just give me like $10,000 more. I'd be like, looking like, why? Tell me why. What's holding you up?
See?
Prove to me.
Perfect.
Like,
so what we're doing right now is all these schmomos that are in there right now. We just gave them another $3.5 trillion for an infrastructure bill that probably only $180 billion of it goes towards infrastructure. And where are we getting this money?
Taxes, people, I'm assuming.
Taxes, people, but you can't even tax us that much money. They're borrowing it from China. So what, we're going to get into more debt with China?
Yeah.
And then it's $33.5 trillion and literally $180 billion is going to infrastructure. What is the other $200.5 trillion going to? All special interests, all little pet deals that all these people had to fucking pay back that got elected into office.
Yeah, I saw someone say
garbage. Garbage.
It's like I just got a thing on the news. What was it? Someone's like, oh, someone said that like we owe China like $3.2 trillion. This person like, like, no, you owe China like $3.2 trillion. It's like, I don't know anything. I mean, I didn't take out any money.
I didn't. Well, this is the fucking problem. Most of us try to live responsibly and not live above our means and keep a balanced budget and not put ourselves in a tremendous amount of debt. Why do these people that really have, a lot of them have had no real jobs in their life besides doing this? They never created a business, never did anything like that, but they're in charge of how to spend money. And they've all proven that they are reckless with money because we are 20-30 trillion dollars in debt. The American people, because they do it off of our backs, not theirs, they live by a different set of rules. Everybody, oh, they pay taxes too. Bro, they have such different health plans, such different pension plans. They have so many different things that they have different benefits on. Like, you serve as a senator once for 6 years, like you have unlimited pension. Like your pension, imagine working anywhere for 6 years and having like a fucking $100,000 pension. Best healthcare in the world. Fuck it. Let it roll. Sell my soul for 6 years, right? Man. But that's how it is.
Yeah, I think about that too. Like, especially like when you have a family and you have multiple responsibilities and things like that. Like, trying to manage.
Listen, the same people that gave us Obamacare, none of them have it. We can have it. They can't have it. It's not good enough for them. None of them are on Obamacare. They have their own different health plan.
Yeah.
Oh, how fucking convenient. Right?
Yeah.
I know.
I don't know, man. I try to break it down and I try to see it from both sides, man. I struggle sometimes.
Me too. 100%. Yeah. Like, what is there to see from this side? You guys gave us this iPhone, but then you get the cool iPhone on your side. This iPhone's cool enough for you, but we get the double screen iPhone that folds in half and does everything else. But you fucking simpletons could have this one. I know. That's like, oh, here's your $500 check, but we're gonna fucking take out $1 trillion. Best thing I saw was, the more and more information. But I mean, I've been saying this since day one. But the more and more information coming out that the vid was leaked from that lab. They're like, make China pay.
You see that every day.
Make China pay $10 trillion in reparations. Boom, that cuts our national debt in half. They released it out in the world. They did it.
Yeah.
Like you should pay for it. I say fucking cancel our debt. See you later, China. Eat dick. Take Manhattan back from all these HSBCs.
Someone said that to me. Someone said that thing. I think it was at ShopRite. I heard some guy behind me saying that. He's like, yeah, I came out of the lab, this and that, and he was going on some rant. The thing is, he wasn't talking to anyone, so he was just saying it out loud and like declaring it for like the store to hear. And I was just like, I'm like, all right, man, like I hear you, it's all good. He's trying to like break it down for me. And
good for him.
But
listen, people are waking up at different points, my friend. I know our listeners have heard me ramble before, but check back to some of those earlier episodes. It's like I'm a goddamn Houdini fortune teller.
Yeah. So it's just crazy, man. I'm like, I don't know.
It's fucking wild. Like I was telling you before, like Tennessee fucking signed into law. I can send you the documents of fucking making internment camps. Everything I've been saying, I'm like, they're gonna throw us in a fucking camp, bro. They are. It's on fucking record now that they're fucking kicking it around as an option. That's fucking scary, bro. That hasn't happened since through Japanese during Pearl Harbor, right? During World War II.
Yeah. Well, I think about like
learn from history, folks.
Talk about like the mandates with like employers, like like now nurses, like for the same thing. Now they have to get the shot or they get fired. But the thing is, like, what about active military? Like, you really can't, or like you can't really like quit. Essentially, like if you don't want to get the shot or whatnot, you can't get fired, or essentially, I guess it gets considered discharge. So, what do those guys
discharge
do?
or something?
Which
well,
is like,
I think it's pretty fucking pretty wild to be telling everybody that there's a surge, but you're firing nurses because they don't want the vaccine. But you're saying there's not enough nurses, but you're firing them because there's a surge. But then, bro, like literally, I've talked to so many nurses on both ends. And some people are like, oh my God, it's terrible. Those are the same ones that get the vax and do the fucking TikTok dances during a pandemic. And they're doing choreographed TikTok dances because it's so bad. People say, stop it. They're just trying to make light at the end of the tunnel. You got time. Fucking people bleeding from their lungs and their eyeballs, but you got time to be like, all right, 70 of us. Right? Okay. And then I have other nurses that are like, I will not get this jab. There's no fucking way I will get this. They're like going through everything. They're like, I might have to quit my job. But last year they were heroes. This year's they're scum. And they're getting threatened. Yeah. They're getting threatened every day. They're getting pressured. I know a lot of people that got pressured into the jab. EMT people that didn't want it. Nurses that didn't want it. There was a survey, not a survey, a graph actually put out today that they were saying, what is the reluctancy by like class? Like, okay, like people that didn't go to high school, people that went to high school, people that have a bachelor's, people that have a master's, people that have a PhD. Okay. Out of those groups, who do you think is the highest that are pushing back against it? So it's college educated, back. Let me start from the top. Like high school education, then there's like some college, then there's bachelor's, master's, PhD. Those are the categories. Who do you think is the highest that is resisting the vaccine?
I don't know. I'm gonna say maybe was it more towards the folks with like advanced degrees, or
I don't know. Pick one. Boom, boom, boom.
Let's just say PhDs.
PhDs. The smartest motherfuckers in the room are the ones that don't want the shot. Then the next highest is the people like me that are like high school, some college. But the people that have bachelors and masters are the lowest because they think they're smarter than everybody. They're college educated.
Yeah,
that's the problem. But the PhDs and the doctors, they're actually the highest percentage to be turning down the vaccine. Some of the most educated people we have.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody goes believe the science, but once a scientist or a doctor comes out, they're like, oh, he's not a real doctor. He's not a real scientist. There's tons of people that are out. They just silence them or they just discredit them saying there's no data to back it up. There is no data to back up what they're doing right now, but you accept it, you fucking simpletons. Sorry, Joe, I got excited. I'm sorry. But it's true.
You know, it's funny, like kind of like switching topics on this. I know people are kind of hear our rants and whatnot, but you know, I was just
that's fine. I know.
Thinking about it.
I got you. You work in corporate. I got you.
No, but I was just thinking about like now that you brought up like education and whatnot, it kind of brings me back to like certain folks. Like this might be random and completely different, but do you remember that show? Like,
random.
Do you remember that show, Dirtiest Jobs?
Yeah, Mike Rowe.
Yeah, Mike Rowe.
Yeah,
so he was like talking about like all the guys, like I think I was watching an interview with him yesterday, and they were talking about like, oh, so you go on these jobs and you see these people who like don't like have these higher educations and whatnot, and like people always talking about like find your passion, like find your passion. He's like, let me tell you something, man. He's like the last guy I just interviewed, his company was pumping septic tanks.
Yep.
That's all he did. He drove around a big tanker truck, would just go show people's houses at septic and pump them. And he's like, we're sitting in this septic tank. He's like, I'm like waist deep in like human shit. And he's like, I looked over at the guy and he's like, so I was like, was this like your passion? And the guy was just like, "You kidding me?" He's like, "No." He's like, "All I did was like I looked where everyone else was going, and I went the opposite way." And it just kind of made me think about, like, granted, like, yeah, I went to like college and did all these things, and like, I got a fantastic job and everything I'm doing, but it also makes you think like, oh, what if I like, did something like crazy like that? And like you always hear like, there's all these jobs opening up.
He was like, fuck it, I'm putting grip tape on skateboards from now on. Not wrong with that.
I just think about that, because I remember having a neighbor, like, he welded. That's all he did. He welded boilers.
Yeah. Well, welding's a great gig, and they make good money.
Yeah, I used to always see him, like, if I came home late, his garage door was open and he was just welding. It'd be 1 o'clock in the morning, sometimes be 4 o'clock. He's out there, had his radio, had a couple beers. And one day, like, when I was getting ready to move to the city, I was asking him, like, how long you welded for? He's like, probably like, 20, 25 years. I'm like, do you like do all right? Because, he drove like he's been driving the same truck I'd had. He's like, yeah, I do all right, man. He's like, I'm probably pulling like a little over 2 a year. And I was like, wait, like, what, like 200K? He's like, yeah, a little bit of overtime, like 200K. And I was like, what?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, you go to college? He's like, yeah, I went to like a Votech and then like an Irish apprentice a little bit, but he's like, yeah, I just did that, so I do all right. And I'm like, look at this fucking guy, man.
Dude, that's what Mike Rowe always said too. The trades, he's like, you don't. This is the thing. Like, you go to college and get in debt to learn your trade, and you're not guaranteed. Like, you go to trade school and they put you through school and pay you while you're going through school, and then you make a better living than all these fucking snub noses that snub their nose at these guys that are getting on the trains. Every morning you see them at a certain time. All the union guys in the city, and then they're coming out. All that stuff. A lot of those guys make fucking more money than these doctors, because these doctors have to pay back these huge fucking bills, but they have their nice house and their little Porsche and all that. I know a lot of guys in the trades that have a fucking very nice life.
Yeah, I remember like even training like in the city when I was living in Brooklyn. Like, I do the 6 a.m. class. They had a 6 a.m. jiu-jitsu class. All those guys, most of the guys that came in were all sanitation workers. I was like, all right, are you going to work after this? Like, when we finish at like 7, they're like, nah, we're done, man. We're done for the rest of the day. I'm like, that's it? Like, yeah, they're like up at like 3, 4 o'clock, work, like finish at like 6, 7 a.m. and they're done. They trained, they go train at night if they want to. I'm like, really? I'm like, they make good fucking money, man. Like,
100%.
I even think about like, as my daughter's like, growing up. I'm like, as much as I would love for them to see them like go to college and find something they're truly happy about. Like, if my daughter like turned to me and like was like, you know what, I really like electrical work. I think I'd want to be an electrician. I'm like, fuck it, go for it. Like, at that point, I'm like, listen, if you come out of school with like $5,000 worth of student debt, get that paid off, and then you got a job right then and there, and like you love it. And like, I know a lot of electricians, they make good money. I'd be like, fuck it, let's just do it.
Listen, there's a lot of guys with a lot of real nice boats on the lake, and they're all like, oh, I own a landscaping company. Oh, I own a trucking company. Oh, I own this company. Like, but that's also the difference between being a boss and being an employee sometimes. So, you can be an electrician and make really good money, but like, how good of money? That's was my always thing, and why I always work for myself. Like, if I'm worth $150 fucking thousand or $200,000 a year to this guy, how much fucking money is he making?
Yeah, man.
That's the way I always looked at it. I'm like, I want to be the guy that gives you the cheddar so I could have more.
Yeah. It's always been like an interesting thing. I'm like, I remember someone telling me like, oh, well, if you're a plumber, like that's all you are for the rest of your life. I'm like, yeah, if you're small-minded, and you think like, I have the skill set, like I've been plumbing for like 15, 20 years. That's all I am. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm like you're. I take that skill set and like you can do.
I know a lot of plumbers that own their own companies and they do very well for themselves. Yeah, and they have like multiple houses, multiple things, multiple trucks. Some guys just have one truck and they fucking kill it on their own. Some guys have a fucking fleet of trucks, but plumbers. Who wants to work in shit? That's what Pat Sullivan used to always say to me. Who wants to work in shit? That's why we get paid good. Yeah. His big thing was always plumbers keeping America healthy because of the sanitation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like their creed, plumbers' creed, like keeping the Americans healthy or something like that. Because you got to think about it. You're just shitting in your yard, shitting over there, dirty water laying around. Like that was disease and everything else. Once you had indoor plumbing and you carried all that stuff away, well, people were a lot healthier.
Yeah, that's true, man. I think about it too. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be so much be like a trade, but just like a skill set. Like someone might see like, you know, like a black belt, like, you know, be like, oh, that's all you're going to be is like an instructor. But now you got this point, like, you know, you own a business. Now you have one school, then you have two schools, then you have three schools. You got all these things that you could do with like this one skill set. You know?
Oh, that's even like our buddy Brazizi. I mean, he was a black belt and taught at George's, and then he went and became, you know, a state trooper down in Maryland and did his time. And now he's the instructor for the academy. He's a black belt. He's using his black belt.
Yeah,
that's his main job as a police officer now, is to use his black belt that he learned in jiu-jitsu from George and me and like the rest of us, like his skill sets. Now he uses it for a living. So he even, I always said that sly little fucker. He went to be the fuzz and he ended up teaching jiu-jitsu again. But he loves it and he's got a good gig. And you know, I mean, that's the value of having that extra skill set and just being well-rounded.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, I almost like immigrants. I'm like, you know, we're not like old men, but even like looking at like young people now, with like technology and so much and all the different things you can get out there without spending like $100,000. You can learn so many different skills.
Well, what is it? Even though he's not my favorite person in the world, but Elon Musk, he's like, you don't need to go to college. Everything you want to learn, you can fucking Google.
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's like you can get books, you can get full like online courses for free from like Harvard and shit online. He's like, you don't, and I know I think we've said this before. People mistake education as intelligence.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Joey Basements. He's educated and he's dumb shit.
Yeah. I mean, I know people with advanced degrees. I know people with advanced degrees who can't even start a lawnmower.
Dude, you know? I know.
Basic life skills. Basic life skills.
100%. You're like, oh, you could do fucking advanced fucking calculus and quantum physics, but you can't turn on a goddamn dryer. Awesome.
Yeah. I saw a video one time.
Cut your foot off the lawn.
It was a college class, like master's students, and it was a woman. It was a woman in the class teaching them like how to prepare like a basic meal, how to balance a check, like, you know, how to run like a basic budget, like all these like basic skills that you essentially learn as like a teenager, like, you know, and like there's advanced college.
Well, that's a big thing.
Like, what? How do you do this?
That I'm trying to work on too, and I know you are too, is like just money. Like people don't explain to you how money really works in certain aspects. And like, to like, even like the money game of like the stock market and shit. Like if I understood that more, like there's people that just like talk to me about it. And it's like, it's a fucking game. That's all it is. It's like not even real. Like, you can lose money, this, that, but they're like, if this has this percentage and that has that percentage, it's fucking free money. And it's going to make this and it's going to make that. Like once you understand how that game is played, which I think that system's going to be falling pretty soon. But like once you have, once you have you lose the fear of it and you understand it. I think it's like anything else, like firearms or training or whatever it is, life skills. Like once you learn the fear and you just have like a basic respect and understanding and you can kind of figure out the game, you kind of fly by your seat of your pants a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it starts to, especially like it even starts like just basic like financial like literacy. Like the difference, like you'd be surprised like how many people don't know the difference between like an asset and like a liability. Like what's taking money out of your pocket, what's putting money in your pocket. Like just
kids, that fucking liabilities.
Just taking all of my money.
They just take life support, life everything. They just take it all. No, it's funny because
it's not even the money, man. It's just taking the life out of you.
Yeah, just my life force sucking my soul out.
Oh man, that's so funny.
But I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, you don't want to be my liability, you want to be my asset. So you better learn how to fucking hunt, fish, shoot shit. I gotta be able to yell to you up on the ridge, get them Cletus, let's go. You know? They're working on it though. Yeah, my older ones, he's getting more reliable on certain things.
Yeah, that's the thing. And like he's gonna be taking care of his younger brothers at some point. Like you know, like my sister's got 4 boys. Like they essentially just take care of each other. Like it's almost just like a well-oiled machine. Like they just literally, like, especially getting each other ready in the morning. Like they all just run in like their own. Yeah,
that's
it's like their own like little pack. Yeah,
she's by herself too, right?
Yeah. So
fucking wild. I couldn't even. I couldn't. I have 3, and if I was by myself all the time, like Rand's by herself a lot, so she does. She gets a little bit, but I'm around. I'm around more than most dads. And they're with me and stuff like that. But dude, 4 boys by yourself, and being a chick,
I literally like watched like I watched all 4 of them just kind of work, and it's just like I felt like if she were to leave the house for like 6
they
hours,
would survive.
Be fine.
Survive.
Yeah, they know how to like make their own food, like this and that. Get out of the house. Like I'm like that's amazing. Like,
one watches the other one. One grabs this one grabs that one. Yep.
Yeah.
They police it.
Like we went to the fair yesterday, and like she was walking, and they were just like, all right, and they're just gone, immediately gone. Like it just took off.
No,
like,
we were gonna go Sunday to the demolition derby, but we didn't end up going. Dude, I don't like being around lots of people like that.
You know what? I'll be honest. Like big crowds, like I get like irritable.
Me
like,
too.
Super, like really quickly.
Really
like,
easy.
I just get irritated. I'm like, why is there so many people around? Like, why is everyone touching me? Like, why are you walking in front of me? Like, even on vacation, going on a boardwalk. Like, I got on the boardwalk. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna get ice cream.
No,
dude,
you're like neurotic. You're like,
I was just cranky. Yeah, I was just within like 10 minutes. I was cranky. I'm just like, all right, we can get ice cream and just get the hell out of here.
Out of here. I know. No, what's your problem? Just enjoy it. I'm not enjoying this. I'm not enjoying this. I wish I could enjoy this. I'm not enjoying this.
I was like, I'm trying.
She's starting to know like there's certain things. She's like, I'm not even gonna ask you to do it because like I know you just don't like want to do it, and you're gonna be a cranky fuck, and like I'm better off just like taking my mom or your mom with me, and we go. Like well, at least after all this years, you're figuring that out.
Yeah, I mean, my wife can kind of see. She can kind of look at me and be like, "All right, yeah, I can tell you're just not happy. Like, you're just slowly getting more and more upset." I'm just like, I think it'd be a lot cooler if you could walk around with beers, not be stuck in the beer tent if you want to go. Yeah,
because then you got to go in shifts. Kids can't go in there, so like if they let me just like have a roadie and like walk around, I'd be cool with that.
I'd be perfectly fine. I feel like you'd be less likely to see like shit go
binge
down.
drinking.
People just like walk around like your kids on the carousel. You're just sitting there with like your koozie, just like taking little sips, and you're walking around. Like that's fine, man.
Dude, that's what I do everywhere. I got my koozie. I'm like vacation. I walk around the boardwalk, everything, solo cup, whatever. Walk around my lake. I do not walk around my lake unless I'm drinking. I'm like, I got a bunch underneath the strollers. Yeah, no.
I always tell people, you can't get a DUI during the day. It just
doesn't happen.
No.
Especially if you're walking.
So yeah, I always like think about like
fucking challenge me with a good time, Drew. I can prove you wrong.
I even think like sometimes when when I was in the office, like, when you're having that day and like stressed out, I'm like, can you imagine like just being anywhere like stressed out? Like say you're at the gym, you're sitting at your desk going to pick your time, like a long shitty day, and just out of nowhere, some guy just shows up, like cracks open a cold beer, just puts it down, just disappears into the shadows. Like he's just gone.
That's called a guardian angel, Drew.
Yeah, and I just think about, I'm like, could you imagine like just being in any office and like some guy's just walking around with the backpack, the cooler backpack.
Oh, like mine? I got the Yeti cooler backpack now.
Yeah, see?
Boom. Then my mother-in-law just got me like this little pack thing that sticks on it, and it's like waterproof. You can keep shit in there, but it's got a little knife and a little cutting board for me for my limes. Boom, right on my cooler.
Nice.
Fucking gangster.
I think about that like all the time.
Simple things, bro. Like, simple things.
Little cold guy, just doesn't need to be a big guy, just a can. Just crack.
I'll even take a fucking nip, like a pody.
Yeah. Yeah, just say nothing to me. Just be like, give me a little pat on the back and like just walk away, and that's
Good
it.
day, my friend.
I'm like, okay.
They're like this. They're like, here's your pony, and see you later.
Yeah, just out, and I'm like, oh my god. And that first one always goes down like really smooth too.
I know. There's certain days where like you have like one or two, and you're like, this is not good. This is way too easy. They're going down way too easy.
It literally goes down like water, and you're like, all right, what am I gonna do? What's the game plan? Do I have enough food in my stomach? Do I have to go get more food? Like,
I know. I've been there.
It's I think about
once in a while. Start introducing Jameson again, and then I'm like, bah!
No. You gotta like prepare for something like that. Like
no,
like
see, this is me. I never prepare for those things. They just happen to me. I swear to God, like I'll like never go out. Like, next thing you know, I'm like, pickle backs. I'm a fucking animal.
Well, there's that one that just pushes you over like the limit. Like you're fine. You got the happy buzz going, and then you get that one. You're just like, all right, yeah, I'm not going to work tomorrow. You know?
Nope, exactly.
I'm sleeping till
2 tomorrow.
Yeah, like the decision's been made at that point. Like there's just no coming back from it. Like I don't care how much Gatorade I found at this moment. Like it's just over. So.
Oh yeah, no, that would be my problem. That's why I didn't show up to training. I did that the last horseshoes. I played. I go out and I go get something. I go play horseshoes. Then I go to the bar. Then my buddies are at the bar. They work at the bar. Then they close early. So they're like, "Oh, you want to go to the other bar?" Or sometimes I'll be like, "We're going to the other bar," you know. So, but whatever. I need to like. I know both of us. Our wives, everybody needs those nights, but like I need that, like especially with everything going on and like running the business and 7 days a week and the kids and this and that. Like if I don't get that, like my top will go.
Yeah,
we were talking about that earlier. Like you just need to decompress by yourself sometimes.
Someone was telling me like people have like their time. Like some people get up like, or for like parents, like some parents get up early in the morning before everyone. And like there's like those parents that like they're a night person. Like after everyone goes to bed, that's like their time. And someone was
that's me and Rand. Rand's the early one. I'm the night one because I get home late and we do this shit. So I'll stay up for like 2 hours by myself.
Yeah, and someone was telling me like you need that because in that moment in those like couple of hours, like you're not like husband or wife or father or mother or this. You're just you.
You're just Drew.
Put on the TV. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? Like, that actually makes a lot of sense. And it's fine. You're just sitting in your house. I'm usually just sitting on the couch, like, under a blanket, like, sitting on my heating pad. But I'm like, all right, this is kind of nice, for a couple hours.
What are you, fucking 80 sitting on my heating pad? You got one of them roid rings?
Yeah. No. Listen, man.
You got one of them little blow-up tube things?
Who knows, man? That might be next week. The next podcast, it might seem like popped up in my chair a little bit higher and be like, dude, what the fuck are you sitting so high?
I'm sitting on a fuzzy white pillow right now, so I'm just talking about shit. My back is fucked up. I got to sit on pillows now because my back, I'm like, oh, God. This chair is not the most conducive. Like, you could sit back and lean. Like, mine are just like my living room chairs where they're like, yeah, this ain't comfy.
Yeah, I try to stand most of the day at my desk, and it's just, I think I got like 4 hours in my knees and my back.
Yeah, I either got to be upright or flat. So I either got to be laying down or I got to be sitting is not conducive for my body.
Yeah.
So I'm either laying looking like a lazy fuck or I'm running around like an animal. There's no in between.
Yeah. So I just recently now, but the shitty thing is maybe it's just I'm just getting older. Let's just say if like my oldest daughter goes to bed at like 8:30, like 8:39, so she falls asleep. I go sit on the couch. I'm like, I'm gonna put something on Netflix. Within 15 minutes, I'm out.
You old fucker,
dude. Done. I know. I'm so hard. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this new movie.
I'm keeping you up past your bedtime. You know what I've been doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch
what I've been doing because like I have a hard time staying asleep sometimes. And like I'll get up every 2 hours, like I gotta piss or I'm just my mind's gone, whatever it is. So I've been doing that when I put on like that black screen, like fucking rain soundscapes. Out.
Oh yeah.
I'm out within like 2 minutes and I am like dead to the world. Yeah, this morning, latest I've slept in fucking forever. I slept till 8 o'clock. I was like, oh shit, wake up. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Baby's next to me, kicking me. I'm like, what are you doing in here? He's like, I got you, Dad. All right, get out now, Dad.
Yeah, dude,
we got the white noise machine. Sneaking in.
They're like little mini ninjas.
The only reason I knew he was in the bed last night is because I literally rolled over on top of him and I was like, oh my God, it's a human. And he just like looks at me, he smiles and goes back to sleep. And then I realized like he's in there. So then I just kind of like prop him up and put him up. But I mean, he's not like a baby anymore. He's a toddler. He's like a little hammer hand. So
yeah. I mean, my 2-year-old, she's like, what? Like she's like probably around like 30 pounds. But yeah, like there's been mornings.
6'2", benching 340. Sweet.
Oh yeah. Solid. mini muffins and Eggo waffles all day. That's it.
I got one of them. I know.
Yeah. So, dude, like 5:30, 6 o'clock, I'll kind of like start to like kind of wake up, and I'll go to like roll back, and I'm on the edge of the bed. I'm like, how did I get on the edge of the bed? I go to roll back. I'm like, what the fuck is behind me? I look over, and there she is. She's just there, passed out. I'm like, when the hell
did you come in here? Yep, I know.
Yeah, and it's just, you don't even sense it. They don't even disturb the bed. Like they just like slither, just like a snake, right in there, and like
they're part of the Wu-Tang Clan, assassins.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like,
dads are pretty fucking cool. I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
it's hard being a gangster. Right? It's hard.
Man. Did you look up that station I sent you, Swedish?
No, you never sent it to me.
Oh fuck! I gotta
do it now before you forget.
Yeah.
All right, Drew, tell the folks a little bit about the Swedish Steel, because me and Drew are very, very much Wu-Tang fans.
So Swedish Steel, this follows the original producer that produced all the Wu-Tang beats, or most of the Wu-Tang beats. So it's literally like there's like 4 or 5 different videos on YouTube. It's RZA, but it's also some of the other ones that RZA didn't do.
Okay.
So and some of the channels are a combination, but it's just all instrumental. So it's like they take every Wu-Tang album, and it's just the instrumentals off those albums. So you just sit there and just listen to Wu-Tang beats, and like
dude, we're doing Freestyle Friday then.
Dude, that's what I did last Friday. Like I played it on. Never like there's like most people like don't know, but there's like 2 or 3 people like that Wu-Tang. I'm like, yeah, it's Wu-Tang.
Obviously.
Like, all right,
we're gonna freestyle.
Of course it is.
I know you can't freestyle.
Fuck no, you kidding me? Maybe if it was high school, like I tried to freestyle, but no.
Yeah, no, my freestyle is I am just a very good shit talker. My shit talking is impeccable.
I'm just gonna hit you with the shit talk for
that's it.
10 minutes straight.
That's fucking rapping. Basically, they're just shit talking to a beat.
Yeah, I gotta find. Do you have Hulu?
I did. I don't know what happened, but it got like signed out, and it was one of our friends. So I'm not gonna call him and be like, "Yo, give me your login again."
I think we use my sister-in-law's on.
Yeah, it was like
it's
like Randy's. It's like Randy's like sister. Like her brother's baby's mom. Whatever.
There's a video. There's a movie on there with it directed by Questlove. It's called Summer of Soul. So the same summer as Woodstock. Right in Harlem, they did the Harlem Culture Festival.
Okay.
So it was essentially it was just like Harlem's version of Woodstock, and it was all like they just shut down like a part of Harlem. A huge music festival, like all different like soul, gospel, funk artists, like everything.
In the gospel.
You know what? Not like any of the new gospel, but I'm talking like back around that time.
Yeah,
like that. I think that was pretty good. That was actually.
I mean, there's a lot of like gospel singers that are like bluesy that I really enjoy, but I've never got into the gospel. I like the blues and the Motown, and like I'm a big fan of that stuff.
Yeah, so like that, like back then in that era, like that type of gospel like music, because that's more like kind of bluesy, like that. Like I'll get down with, like nothing new, but. It was all these different artists, like, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, I think the coolest one was they had Sly and the Family Stone, like, come up there, and like dudes wearing like a purple jumpsuit and like a feather boa and like these big star sunglasses, and like back then like that's normal, which I thought was awesome.
Yo, speaking of that, did you see fucking Limp Bizkit did you see Fred Durst?
Yeah, what's up with that? Like. I thought it was a joke. I'm like,
I thought it was a joke too. The best part was he starts like trying to get political about plastic bottles, and he's like, "How you guys like these aluminum cans filled with water? Death to plastic." Meanwhile, he's wearing like a Helly fucking Hansen fucking windbreaker. His shoes have rubber soles. The drumsticks have rubber resin on it. Everything. The guitar's made out of fucking plastic. I'm like, oh, you're just gonna light your whole stage on fire, aren't you now? Harsher now.
Yeah.
Did you think about it?
Yeah.
Like people don't understand that like plexiglass and shit is made out of oil and fucking plastics and all that other shit. That's a big thing with oil. Everybody's like, get rid of oil. Like, do you realize how much shit is made with oil?
Yeah. You try to go to a hockey game and what are you gonna sit behind wood? See how long that lasts.
She can't see. There's no seeing how long it lasts. You can't see.
Yeah. Yeah. You think a wood plank's gonna stop 100-mile-an-hour like slap shot? Like, yeah. See how that goes.
See how you eat the rest of your food with no fucking teeth.
No. Yeah, I'm like, no, thank you.
No, that's wild. Oh, so what else?
What do we got? We got anything new coming up from Roll Junkie? I know we've been trialing out some of the new stuff. I know we got the ranked rash guards.
Got the ranked rash guard. I got the new spats. You got the new shorts. We both got the new gi.
Yeah, the Ascension gi. That I just saw Ed on Monday, and I was telling him, I'm like, dude, that's my new favorite gi, man. All the black gis. I'm like, that one. So they're actually getting ready. He was telling me they're making some design changes. Nothing crazy, just to the patches, making sure they like lay flat and they lay better and they don't get as worn. So initially, like I said, they're always working to somehow improve their products, whether it's little or small.
Oh yeah.
So he was telling me like the RL logo. He's like, we're using a different patch. So it's actually he like broke it down. They got like scientific. He's like, so when you wash it, it doesn't separate and it actually lays flatter. And it's actually woven into the gi this time. And I'm just like, all right, like I'm still buying Roll Junkie gis, man. Like I ain't going nowhere. I'm like,
but I like that attention to detail.
Yeah,
especially being a jiu-jitsu practitioner.
Yeah, him and Matt, they're always finding out little intricate ways, little or small, to kind of improve their product, and that's always nice to see. You see some companies, they find one formula, they just stick with it, whether it's good or bad, but they're always trying to find something, whether be with their no gi apparel or gi apparel, just to make it better and better. And then that's always nice to see.
I like it. I like it a lot.
So I'm pretty psyched to see what they come out with soon.
Go to rolljunkie.com, promo code 2LiveFools, get 15% off your entire order. Tell them the Fool sent you.
Everything. T-shirts, shorts, that new Ascension gi, like it's like a different cut somehow. It's like a little bit like a slimmer cut, and it fits
nice.
So nice, man.
It's nice. I like it.
So like I said, I know they sponsor the podcast, but even if they didn't, I'm still talk up their products, man. Like they make a lot of good stuff. So
yeah, we were before the podcast, so
yeah, we were many years before the podcast, but we're fans here, and we'll continue to shout them out. They're good guys, and they're doing what they can to provide you guys some of the best apparel out there and gear from a jiu-jitsu standpoint. So
love it. Check it out again. Promo code 2LiveFools. And guys, remember, like, subscribe, share on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Apple, etc. It really helps us out if you guys share and subscribe. So we like it. We appreciate you guys. Fools out, kids.
All right, peace.
Jiu-jitsu, when I hit you, then I split you.